will continue first with what is an offer, and then we will continue with the different types of offer, and we'll do what are the rules relating to offer. I'm just going to share this video to you. Let's see. 15 between, I'll ask anyone anything. So please be alert. Is this visible? Okay. So yesterday we did with what is an offer and what is an acceptance. The two rules relating to offer is one, it should show an intent to enter. That is, there should be an interest to enter into a contract. There should be a definite, there should be an offer as such, and it should be communicated to the offeree. These are the three important steps to offer. And what is an offeree, or how is it that you accept? You show an intent or an interest towards accepting the offer. The communication should be given to the offerer, and finally, the state acceptance that mirrors the terms of the offer. That is, it should not be vague, it should be specific and clear that you have accepted the offer. Then we did with the definition of what an offer is. When one person signifies to another his willingness to do or abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining the assent of that to such act or abstinence, he is said to make a proposal. So, what is a contract? Contract is agreement plus a legal obligation, and agreement is offer plus acceptance. So there should be an offer from a person, and what are the terms relating to offer? This we will be doing it in detail. So in generally there should be a proposal which should be committed, then only an offer is said to be have been made. So the person who makes the offer is known as the offerer, and the person to whom offer is made is known as the offeree. So we are going to now do with the different types of offers and legal rules related to offers. Anyone remembers what is an express offer? I hope you understood what a contract is. Contract is there should be an offer, acceptance, and a legal obligation. Now, when I say legal obligation, first there should be an offer. So, what is an express offer? Can I have an example at least of an express offer? Anyone? Can I have an example for an express offer? Students, if it's going to be like this, it's going to be a waste of me taking a class. This is the second time we are doing it. We've already done this in types of contracts also. Still, you're not able to tell me what is express offer, what is express and implied offer. I gave you so many examples. Any one of you. Rule number 6. Rule number 6. So, this is going to be very difficult, students. Siddharth, you're there in the class? Siddharth.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Why is no one replying now?
I don't know.
Yes, any one of you, please tell me what is an express offer.
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, it's an offer that can be made verbally or in a written way.
superb, excellent one. An express offer, offer which can be either in verbal or written terms. That is known as an express offer. Implied offer, can I have an example? Vinay, okay, he's not here. Naveen, rule number 31. Rule number 31. Absent, Naveen. You're not there in the class. Manish,
Yes, ma'am.
can you tell me what is an implied offer?
Played offer
Express offer is something which is in either
verbally.
written or verbal. Yeah. Implied is, I gave you an example also.
No idea.
You can give me an you can give me an example as such. Focus, listen to this again carefully, which means none of you is paying attention in the class and it's becoming difficult for us. Ravin, just share me this link on WhatsApp, classroom link.
Yes, ma'am.
We were doing with the different types of offer. Under one, first we did with express offer. Express is something which can be in written as well as in orally where an offer is made. Secondly, we did with implied offer. An example for this is when I enter a bus or when I travel on a bus, it's implied that I'll purchase a ticket and that will lead me to a destination. So there is nothing that I'll have to sign an agreement or go through it, nothing like that. Third one is specific offer. Specific offer is one wherein only to a specific person I will make an offer. It is not to everyone that is applicable. For example, A offers B to sell a bicycle for rupees 10,000. So here he is making it a specific offer only to B. Hello. So specific offer is to a particular person that we offer. For example, A offers to sell a bike to B. So it's only a specific offer to a particular person. General offer, on the contrary, is like we have a discount offer which is given by for pantaloons, sale for or an offer of piece of offer valid till 15th of September. So this is in general to everyone, nothing in specific. Hope you are clear with the first four: express offer, implied offer, specific, and general offer. Now, what is a counter offer? Counter offer is one wherein once an offer is made, and after an offer is made, there are some terms which you contradict. For instance, A wants to sell a bike to B for rupees 10,000. But he attaches a condition to it that you will have to accept the offer within 1 week. So the acceptor or the person who is accepting the offer can give a counter telling that yes, I would be interested in purchasing the offer, but not within 1 week, or it can extend the time also. Got it? So this is counter wherein one offer is made and you give a counter to that. That's not within the other condition of the offer is not clear. So you want an extension or you can have any changes in that offer. Now what is a cross offer? Cross offer is one wherein both the offer has something to sell. The acceptor is also showing his intent to buy the same product. So the subject matter remains the same, the cost remains the same, but it is not communicated to each other. For instance, A wants to sell his bike to B for rupees 10,000. He makes an offer which is not known to B. He is interested in purchasing the bike of A, but he is also not communicating. So this is a cross offer where both the offer and the acceptance are the same subject matter, but they are not communicated. That's a cross offer. Hope you are clear with what is a counter offer and a cross offer. Yes. And the last one is what is the standing offer. Now a standing offer is one which is of continuous nature. For instance, I purchase a commodity from a regular purchaser or a manufacturer. That is a standing offer. So every month the quantity might differ, the price might differ, but the offer would remain on the same. Subject remains the same. For example, if it's oil, it's going to be oil only, that on a continuous basis that I purchase from the same merchant, but the quantity and the amount might only change. So hope again go through all this. What is an express, implied, specific, general, counter, cross, and a standing offer. We'll just go through an example of each one of them. Now see, this is what is an express offer. An offer made in words, written, or spoken. This is an implied offer. When I enter a cafeteria, it's understood that I'm going to buy something for which I have to pay. So there you need not you don't have a contract. It's implied, understood. Just this is specific offer. Why do I say specific? Because here it is only for one specific group. This is a general offer. And this is a counter offer where some terms of the offer at the times of acceptance might change. When the offeree adds more of some conditions or change some terms of the offer at the time of acceptance, that is known as counter. It might be a time, or it might be the quantity, or any other terms of the offer might change. cross offer is when both of them have the same intentions related to the same subject matter, but the communication is incomplete. It is not complete. So when two parties make identical offers to one another without moving each other's offer, that becomes a cross offer. And finally, a static offer, a continuous offer or an open offer, which can be to a specific person or to the general as such. Next, we will move rules regarding relating to offer. Now, an offer, when accepted, is it clear, students, with the types of offers? Any doubts on that? Only then we will be able to move. Can I have a response? Not one person I'm able to hear.
No doubts, ma'am.
Students, no one is there in the class, students.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am? Ma'am?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I answered that I don't get any response from you, students. No one is responding. What?
Ma'am.
How?
Ma'am, we are responding.
I am not able to hear one person.
Ma'am, we were actually responding.
Where are you, ma'am? Now, the first one it says is an offer, when accepted, must create legal relationship between the parties. Now, this should be that there should be some kind of a legal relationship between both the persons who is offering and accepting. I'll give you an example. For example, A offers to buy or A getting pocket money from his father in case if the father does not give him the pocket money, can he sue? I have a father and a son. The father does not pay the pocket money to his son. Can the son sue the father for not paying his pocket money? Give me a yes or a no. Why? No. Why? It's a personal relationship. It's not something which is a legal relationship. Legal relationship might also come between father and a son, but here the scenario is just to pocket money. So this in this circumstances there is no legal relationship between the parties. That's why it is not accepted. So an offer when accepted must create legal relationship between the parties. That is what we need to say. Second one is the terms of the offer must be clear and certain. This is very well self-explanatory. All the terms and conditions relating to how much is the consideration, the time, the date, when is it going to be given, all of it should be clearly mentioned. If it is not mentioned, then it would not be a valid offer. So these are all the rules which we are reading which relating to offer. First, it should create legal relationship. Second, it should be the offer must be clear and certain. It should be something which is doable, not something which cannot be done also. So it should be in a position that yes, it is I can perform the contract. Third one, declaration of intention by one person to another person does not constitute a valid offer. I'll give you an example for this also. Example, I intend X tells Y that I want to sell my car for rupees 1 lakh, but he is not conveyed it to Y at all. Does this become a contract? I'll repeat it. X tells Y that he intends to sell his car for rupees 1 lakh. Okay, but there is no valid offer from X, and he has only conveyed his intention. He's not telling that I here, he's only telling that I want to sell my car. For what amount, the other terms and conditions are absent. So just telling that I wish or I intend to sell something does not constitute a valid offer. All the terms and conditions, therefore, it cannot, if Y is not able to purchase the car, then he cannot sue X because X has only given his intention that I want to sell the car. It is not given an offer that I am selling the car for such and such an amount. If you are interested, purchase. So in that case, Y cannot sue X for not giving a offer because it's not a valid offer itself. He's just expressed his intention to another person. The next one is an invitation to offer is different from a valid offer. Now, a person entering into a shop, he will see 10 things. That does not mean that he will buy all the things. So, an invitation to offer. The shopkeeper is inviting him that these many products are available in the shop. So, only if he is interested in any, would he come and purchase them. So, just offering him, just because he is entering into the shop does not mean that he would purchase all the items or a few items. Only if he is interested in it, he would purchase it. Hope the first four one are clear to you. An offer when accepted must create legal relation. Always remember an example for it. It must create legal relationship between the parties. The terms of the offer must be clear and certain. Declaration of intention, just telling that I want to sell my car is not an offer. That should be a intention. This an intention is not an offer. The terms, conditions for how much amount are you really interested in selling the car should be told. Otherwise, it becomes a void offer. An invitation to offer is different from a valid offer. Like the example of a person entering a shop. He cannot tell that just because I am entering the shop, this might or I can the shopkeeper cannot sue that he has not purchased anything. No. He is just coming to the shop to look at various items. If he is interested, he might come. So an invitation to enter the shop is not that he is going to purchase or it's a valid offer. A very important concept is offer must be communicated. Until it is communicated, it does not become like how we did in the second case. It should be communicated. Otherwise, how would I know that the whole terms and conditions, everything should be communicated. Either if I'm doing to a specific person or to a group of persons, it has to be communicated. The next one is offer must certain a term. It must contain a term, the non-compliance of which would amount to acceptance. I'll give you an example for this also. The offer must contain the term. The non-compliance, for example, P offers to sell his bike to R for rupees 25,000 and tells R, if I do not hear from you within a week, then I assume that the bike is sold. So there cannot be a forced term that can be forced to an offerer. I'm sorry, the offeree. So when you accept it, it should be free of any terms, or I should accept that term also. You cannot give me a clause telling that if in 1 week if I do not hear from you, I assume that the bike is sold. These are unambiguous statements which is not accepted by law. So it must not contain a term which the non-compliance of which should amount to the acceptance. So if I am not able to comply with the terms, it should not it should not be taken that I have accepted the offer. The next one is a mere statement of price does not constitute an offer to sell. For example, the lowest price for selling a pen is rupees 100. This is just a statement. The lowest price of selling a pen is rupees 100. It is not telling that I am interested in selling the pen. It is only telling that the price of the pen is rupees 100. The lowest price of the pen is rupees 100. So, a mere statement of price does not constitute an offer to sell. And lastly, special terms of offer, if any, like if how is it going to be delivered, the packaging, etc. Few examples. It must be communicated to the offeree at the time when the offer is made. Like how much will it be for the delivery charges? Is the first offerer or the offeree who is going to pay for it? So it is a repetition of the terms and conditions which has to be clearly communicated. So any special terms which is attached to the offer should be communicated to the offer. So these are the various legal rules relating to offer. I want each one of you to, when it asked in exam, you will have to mention these statements along with an example. Only then it will be accepted. Just go through it once and see that you're clear with it. You just stop with this today. And then I'll ask you questions as well of what you have understood about offer. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
So if I ask you the different types of offer, you should be in a position to tell me what is a cross offer, counter offer, general, specific. All this you should be in a position to tell me. I'll still give you 2 minutes. Just check if you have any different types of offers and legal rules relating to offer.